So why don't we just put Bohemian Rhapsody?
We don't have the budget for that.
Again.
Yeah, that's a lot of letters. You know how many letters are in Bohemian Rhapsody? I don't even know how to spell
We
it.
never have the budget.
I know. And I don't know how to spell it.
Hi, I'm David. This is Joe, and here's our review for Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's not what that says. So, Bohemian Rhapsody is the story of Queen, but really the story of Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
And who's played by Rami Malek. It's his journey to stardom.
Rami Malek did a fantastic job.
Yes.
I mean, as soon as, from the opening moments, he really embodied kind of the spirit of Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Brought that energy.
Yeah. He looks a little weird when you first, start the movie, because he's got these fake teeth in, and not used to seeing Rami Malek like this.
It takes about 20 seconds
Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
to get used to it. Like,
I
at
was
first,
like,
I couldn't
oh.
stop staring at it, and then
Yeah.
you just kind of, then stuff happens, and you just keep going.
And he's just him.
Didn't notice it again for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Everybody's been praising him for this, so I think we'll just talk about it for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But he's just, he's amazing throughout the whole movie. Does great. If he doesn't get at least an Oscar nomination, then I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of great movies, great performances, so I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't, but I mean, he definitely deserves it.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think all of the actors did a great job in this movie. The people they got to play the bandmates,
Yeah.
they looked exactly like them. And
I feel like their distinct personalities did show through. I know I read a review somewhere that said the bandmates were interchangeable, they didn't really matter, and I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because, no, you clearly have, there's the older, mature one, and then you have the bad boy drummer, who's, ready to argue and fight,
Yeah.
and then you have the nerdy one that everybody kind of bashes. They had their distinct roles.
yeah.
And it all kind of comes together in a very interesting way.
And they totally felt like a family or like a band, who were really close to each other.
Yeah.
And even though this movie is paced very quickly, I think they still just give just enough time for all of these moments in their life
Yeah.
to just settle in.
Well, I think because it's so close, you don't see their personal lives from a bird's eye view. No, you're up close the entire time, so you're focused on these four people pretty much throughout the entire movie. So you definitely get to know them very well and kind of see things on a personal level.
Peter Baelish is in this movie.
Yeah, Littlefinger.
Littlefinger is in this movie. He does a great job too. Mike Myers, he's in there as a cameo.
Yeah, I don't think they let him ever stand up, but
No,
but he was in there.
Yeah, I think he stands up to look out the window at some point. Yeah.
Clearly, it's a biopic.
Yeah.
And anytime you get a biopic, of any kind, I always kind of look for, okay, well, who's the villain? Because you still have to tell it as a story. And so there kind of has to be something to push up against, something to persevere through. And there is.
And straight out of Compton, they had their manager.
Yeah.
The
The manager and dealing with the public as well. And this, you have, again, a manager in a way. He has so many different people, like managers and producers and the people who own the company and things like that are dealing with them. And he's an artist, and they have that back and forth. But there's
I did like how their villain that they ultimately end up going with out of all these people was somebody really personal to Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
It was somebody in his life that was in his life for a long time, and the relationship they have is interesting.
Yeah.
And I thought it was nice that person was the villain.
Yeah.
It does make you hate them.
Until that villain kind of reveals himself as a villain, you have other small, he has to deal with family, and he has to deal with lovers and things and there's these smaller obstacles and conflicts that he has that kind of leads up, that will hold your interest, that will keep the tension up until we get to, further down the line, other troubles, other obstacles.
Yeah.
And it's really just the story of Freddie pushing through all of these things and making his art.
Yeah.
And it's a good, I want to say it's a great story about humanity. Just makes you feel good.
Yeah, I know a movie is good when, while I'm watching it, I can't help but smile. And I did that a couple times where I was just uncontrollably just happy. And I was like, I like what I'm watching. It makes me feel good. And that's what I want a movie to do. I also like how they didn't really focus too much on his sexual life. That's what a lot of people, I think are expecting.
A lot of people wanted more of it.
Yeah.
but at the same time, he's not alive to really tell his side. So
Right.
it's like you'd have to just take things. You'd have to take other people's word for it, and you don't want to like pull from a gray area. I think when you're making a biopic about somebody, so they took what they knew and went with that.
Yeah.
And I think it was a good move.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't push anything like too far, like, oh, we assumed he did this or that, or you know, whatever.
It did help that they had
Input from other bandmates.
Yeah, they had input from Queen themselves. They're producers on this movie. Their names are on the thing and everything. But so they had them to kind of tell them, you know, some events that happened, and maybe, you know, like what he was like. And
it is funny though that coming out of this movie, none of his bandmates ever look bad.
No.
Like they're never
Wonder
the
why.
bad guys in
Yeah.
the situation. Yeah, and it's like, who would they get the info from?
Yeah.
You know, the bandmates.
And there are some facts that just, you know, there's some things in this movie that just aren't true, but that other people have pointed out that maybe just some of the events happened at different times or happened in different ways.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, these are all choices that the movie made to
And
just
I
make
feel
it a
like
good story.
anytime there's a biopic, you run into these kind of situations where somebody will be like, I remembered it this way or that way. Or even in this case, there might be some things like them touring before the final performance or whatever that are factual and you can actually check. But I think for a biopic to be successful, does it capture the spirit of the impact of the individual?
And it did.
Yeah, and I feel like that it really brought his spirit and his energy.
Yeah.
When you go back, I mean, it's all over YouTube, his actual performance at Wembley.
Yeah.
And for the Live Aid function.
20-minute long performance. That's
Yeah,
like
that
a movie.
And you should just go watch that.
Yeah.
Watch that and the movie. Watch them both, you know, because then you can really compare, and I feel like he does. He brings that same energy
Yeah.
during the movie.
And I think, it's almost impossible not to like question some of the things that happen and just like, did this person really react that way, or like, did that happen exactly that way? But it's like, if you just don't think about it,
It's not the point.
it's not the point.
We're not going to go for
The point is like what these people did, what Freddie Mercury did was amazing. They made music that was so different, and his voice is so amazing.
And I'm sure we'll get a whole nother generation of Queen fans
yeah.
because of this, you know.
A lot more like teenagers or
They're going to be
kids
like, oh, this resonates with me. I didn't even know this was a fucking thing. And like,
exactly.
You know.
Or I didn't know We Will Rock You was a Queen song.
Yeah, I think a lot of younger people will be like, I know these songs, I didn't really know the band.
Yeah.
And now they know the man, you know, behind these songs. And,
Yeah, and then they'll have more respect for him, and he'll be a legend today, just like
you
he
know,
was
all over
back
again,
then.
which is why I think that it's so important movies like this get made.
Yeah.
Because that's a great man, a great artist, who I want to say the world has kind of not forgotten about, but just a younger generation never got to know.
Especially in America, because you know they're British, and of course people in the UK still love them, cherish them all the time. But in America, you know, there's a lot of people that maybe just didn't hit that, like they didn't.
It just never came up.
It just never came up to them.
Just, they've heard the famous songs, but they've haven't followed the band, and now it's in your face again, and which is great.
Yeah.
All right. So as far as the rating goes, I think I'm not going to give it a rating. Instead, what I will do is just say it was a great film, a story about, human nature, and it's basically, a story about an artist trying to persevere and push out what he wants, push out his art, and it's a great film. It's a great biopic, and you should go see it.
Yeah. I think I'd say the same thing. I'm not going to rate this one either. Queen is my favorite band. It's been that just for... there's a reason for that, and I think this movie just reinsured that and hit it over the head. I think Rami Malek's performance as Freddie Mercury was amazing. Watching this movie made me happy. I think you should go see it too, and have a whole new generation of Queen fans.
No, it's touching for sure. Yeah. And if you've seen it, let us know what you think, and or even if you haven't seen it, let us know what you expect. Yeah. Just want to hear some feedback. All right. See you later.